So what is going on, guys? I'm Black Amazing. Welcome back to another zombie storyline video on the channel, where today we're going to be talking about the fact that Zykov could potentially be dead, and the person we've been hearing in our zombie storyline through the intel and reading in documents, that could be the Forsaken. Are we being played? Is he tricking us? Just in case you aren't aware of who Zykov is, or you need a reminder, he is a character that we've been hearing from ever since Cold War first released. He is trapped within the Dark Ether. He's been stuck in there ever since the end of World War II. During the 1940s, it was Zykov, who we saw in the D Machine intro cutscene, that shut down the cyclotron at Project End Station, which resulted in him becoming trapped within the Dark Ether, and ever since then he's been making contact with our characters on the outside world, whether it be Requiem or Omega, and telling them about his experience in the Dark Ether, the things he's seen, the things that are inside of there. He warned us about the Nazis in the Dark Ether, the Elder Gods, the Forsaken. He is also the person, according to him, that has been sending us the Perk machines and the Pack-a-Punch. He found them as broken pieces of scrap metal in the Dark Ether. He fixed them and then sent them to our characters for us to use, in return of him helping us by giving us knowledge of what's inside of the Dark Ether and weapons, the Pack-a-Punch, Perk machines. All he wants from us is to bring him back home. But there could be a massive twist. Could it be that we are being played? Is Zykov actually dead? Taking a look at this document from him, which comes 4,527 days after he became trapped inside of the Dark Ether, he says, "I have heard more rumours about a creature hunting the Elder God entities who battle for supremacy here. They say it is fairly new, not of the old ones who have fought to a stalemate since this realm was young. There is a particularly disturbing detail I keep hearing. They say it actually consumes those it defeats in combat, devouring them whole, and somehow it absorbs all of the dark power from its victim and adds it to its own. Some claim that it gains new abilities this way, such as the power to change its appearance, allowing it to stalk its prey disguised as someone they trust. I dismissed it as idle fantasy the first time I heard it, but repetition has a way of giving credence to such claims." And besides from this document, we also have a few others from Zykov, where again he's telling us that one of the Forsaken's powers is he can change his appearance. He can take on the form of others to trick its prey, allowing him to get close to them before he strikes. And we've even seen evidence of this. The Forsaken pretended to be Dr. Vogel, who is Valentina's father. He first came to her as a ghost, as an apparition, when she was a child, and ever since then, the One, or the Forsaken, whatever you want to call him, he goes by many names, but he's been pretending to be Valentina's father to trick her so that she would do his bidding, ultimately allowing him to escape from the Dark Ether.
It worked.
You look every bit as glorious as I envisioned. How do you feel, my child?
How do I feel? I feel incredible. I thought I knew what it was to wield power before. Now power sings in every fiber of my being. Nothing will stand against us.
Then go to the head of our army and lead them to glory. Unleash the judgment of the Reich on the soft, weak ingrates who sullied the fatherland.
Tell them their day is done. The sun sets forever upon their divided world. Father, are you my father?
Of course, child. My time here has left its mark on me. But I am the one who guided you to this moment. I am still me. Now go. Make me proud one final time. The Reich must rise from the ashes.
Obviously, in Maudertoten, the Forsaken's plan didn't succeed. He didn't manage to escape from the Dark Ether. But if we know he has this power to change his appearance and use it to deceive people, he can pretend to be someone else, then that brings up the main question of this video, which is, what if the Forsaken is Zykov? What if Zykov died a long time ago and somewhere along the line the Forsaken took on his appearance and he's been talking to us as Zykov ever since? Because what is Zykov's ultimate goal? It's to escape from the Dark Ether. that could be the perfect ploy that would allow the Forsaken to escape. There is a very interesting document we can find in the game. This is from Requiem, where they are doing a summary assessment of Zykov since he's been making contact with Requiem. According to him, he's been helping them, giving them the perks and stuff like that, and wanting to know who he actually is. They write this. Sergeant Kazimir Zykov was a mechanic in the Soviet First Guards Tank Army. In February 1945, when the Soviets discovered Project 10 Station, Sergeant Zykov was ordered to deactivate the particle accelerator. He was sealed inside and presumed dead. That changed last month when he identified himself to Requiem strike team as the individual communicating through the Dark Ether computer device. As requested, Requiem's senior staff have provided statements and recommendations on how to proceed with future Zykov interactions. We have confirmed Sergeant Zykov is the same individual who spoke to our team at Project 10 Station and Outpost 25. If Dr. Gray's theory is correct, which I suspect it is, then Zykov's role in my team's survival has been critical. As to his motives, I am less certain and have concerns. I have recommended my team to continue communications, but to exercise caution and report all contacts. Dr. Gray. Whenever our strike team deploys, they encounter numerous machines, crafting stations and utility crates that have facilitated their survival. Beverages with physiologically altering effects, a kiln of sorts that fortifies their weapon's integrity, and a computer that awards prizes. All evidence points to Zykov as our mysterious benefactor. It seems he does wish to help us, but to what end remains the question. We need to identify his intentions. Dr. Strauss. I would strongly urge we tread carefully. Let us assume he is Zykov. That would mean, due to temporal dilation, he has spent an incalculable amount of time in the Dark Ether. As a result, his exposure to Ethereum would be greater than any other living human. From a research perspective, the opportunity to study such an individual is indeed tantalizing. What could be learned from how the human body interacts with Ethereum would be unprecedented. My only concern is, how do we know it is even Zykov at all? And Major Carver says, I'm of two minds on Zykov. First, he's telling the truth. If that's the case, he represents an asset we cannot possibly ignore. The breadth of knowledge he would possess on the Dark Ether, and the threat it poses, has no comparison. Alternatively, he's lying. We've seen what this dimension does to people trapped in there for a few days. Hell, we've seen what happens after a few hours. You think he walks out of there after 40 years clean as a whistle? Not a chance in hell. Right now, we need to hunker down and listen to what he has to say. It's our best and only option at this juncture. So Requiem know how valuable Zykov is, the amount of information he would possess after being trapped in the Dark Ether for 40 years, also the fact that he's been helping Team Requiem by giving them the Pack-a-Punch and the perk machines. Helping him to escape the Dark Ether could greatly benefit them. But there is then the question, as many of them say, well, how can they even be sure that the person they are talking to is Zykov? They can't confirm his identity other than his voice. They have no idea what he looks like. They also can't be too sure of his true intentions. For all they know, he could just be being nice to Requiem so that they help him escape, and when he finally does, he might not actually be the nice guy they all think he is. Also the fact that since he's been in there for 40 years, we've known characters that have been trapped in the Dark Ether for a few days, weeks, and they've turned into creatures such as mimics, zombies. No one comes out of there normal. Even Samantha came out with a few side effects. But from what Zykov tells us, he's managed to survive in the Dark Ether and he's completely normal. And well, we now also know that the Forsaken, the one in the Dark Ether, he has the ability to change his appearance. For all we know, we could be getting played, and this kind of reminds me of a situation that we're in back in the old timeline with Dr. Monty. It's slightly different, but we also know that Dr. Monty manipulated our characters of Primus and Ultimus because he kept us in a cycle, yet he was deceiving us and pretending to be the good guy because at the same time, he was the one that was giving us the weapons, the Pack-a-Punch, the perks and stuff like that. And now we have Zykov in Cold War, who has also given us the Pack-a-Punch and the perk machines, just like Dr. Monty deceived us for his own gain to keep the cycle going. Could Zykov be doing the same thing? And perhaps this isn't Zykov, maybe this is the Forsaken we're talking to. At what point this would have happened, because I do think in the beginning, in the early days, we probably were talking to Zykov, but somewhere along the line, it could be that Zykov died, maybe he was killed by zombies or the one, or maybe he's still alive, but somewhere along the line, the Forsaken realised he could use this to his advantage. He took on the appearance of Zykov, and he's continuing where he left off, manipulating us, hoping that we help him to escape, and when we do, well, the one would have achieved his ultimate goal, to escape the Dark Ether and enter our world. If we just take a listen to a few of the things that Zykov says, at some points, to me, he does kind of act suspicious.
Hello again, my friend. It is your old comrade Zykov. And yes, we are still comrades, even if You now serve Omega Group. This secret war we fight, and the ultimate enemy we both face, transcend the politics of East and West. And now, thanks to Dr. Valentina, we have entered a dangerous new phase. She thinks she is carrying out her father's wishes, but she is wrong. The being that has visited her since childhood is not her father. The Forsaken is not simply powerful. He is a master of deceit. I have seen him do this before. Alter his appearance, play upon emotions, all to make others do his bidding. I have seen others here become drawn to him, follow him, worship him. And now the Forsaken commands a vast army, hungrily eyeing our world. This is the nature of the great evil I have been warning you about. This dark universe is no longer enough for him. He lives to consume. And when you reopened the gateway at End Station, he looked upon our world and saw a banquet to be devoured. I can still help you stop him, but only if you free me from this place. Only if you bring me home.
So in that radio, he's telling us about the Forsaken, and at the end Zykov says, I can still help you stop him, but only if you free me from this place. Only if you bring me home. The first thing I want to say is, if this is the Forsaken talking to us and not Zykov, why would the Forsaken tell us about himself? Unless he thinks it doesn't matter anyway because no one can stop him. Maybe the Forsaken thinks the only way to gain Requiem's trust is to tell them about himself. That way there's no way they'll believe this could be him. But I do find it a little bit strange how at the end Zykov says, I can still help you stop him, but only if you free me from this place. Only if you bring me home. He sounds desperate, which I guess you would be after being trapped in there for 40 years, but he makes it sound like he is the only one who can stop the Forsaken, but in order for that to happen, he has to be brought home. And then a couple of other radios I want to show you is of Zykov talking to Dr. Peck. We know he has been talking to both Requiem and Omega, even though they are enemies. Zykov has been talking to them both, trying to get them to help him escape the Dark Ether.
Hello, Zykov. You there? It's me, Peck. Yes, my friend. I am here. Where else would I go? So, my co-workers definitely know I'm in contact with you. They even know your name. And they did not discipline you? No. They see you as a potential gold mine of Dark Ether intel, and they don't want to punish the one guy you'll talk to. In fact, Gorev told me to ask about the entity you say is in charge over there. It's real, right? It is an existential threat to all of you, my friend. It is the reason I am building my new device. And that's... what? A weapon? It is something we will need when the real invasion comes. But tell your people I will reveal more details only if you help me come home. You got it. They might want to debrief you for days, but if you deliver on intelligence and firepower, they'll make you a hero of the Soviet Union. They can keep their medals. Just help me come home. Okay. Let me know when your device is ready. We'll work on how best to repatriate you. Over and out.
At the beginning of this first radio, Peck is trying to make contact with Zykov. He says, hello, Zykov, you there? It's me, Peck. And Zykov replies saying, yes, my friend, I'm here. Where else would I go? Even though it doesn't seem like anything, could that be the Forsaken in his own sneaky way, saying to Peck, why are you asking where I am? Where else could I possibly go? When the one knows that Zykov is dead. That's if it is the one speaking to Peck here, it's just an idea. And Zykov also says, I'll reveal more details, but only if you help me come home. Not blackmailing him, but saying, look, I'm not going to tell you anything else until you do what I want. And the final radio from Zykov I want you to listen to is this one.
By now, your commanding officers are aware of me, yes? They must also be asking why I am helping you. What is Zykov, the survivor, hoping to gain from this? Americans. For them, everything is about gain. That much I know. I do not say this to be unkind. America was built on self-interest. It is the bedrock of human nature. My friend, what I hope for, first and foremost, is to save our world from the dark ether. If nothing else comes of this, my sacrifice will have been worth it. But I am not without self-interest. I am human, after all. And so I very much hope you will find a way to release me from this dismal prison. Help me escape. Bring me home.
So he tells us what he hopes for, first and foremost, is to save the world from the dark ether. But he isn't without self-interest. He is human after all, and what he wants in return is to come home. So the big question is then, is this the Forsaken pretending to be him? Is Zykov dead? Is he being held hostage? Is he still alive? If the Forsaken is pretending to be him, if Requiem or Omega do end up bringing Zykov home, which I feel could happen in the final map DLC 4, it feels like this is what it's all been leading up to, well, that could be a big mistake. Because if Zykov is the one, we've just single-handedly allowed him to escape the dark ether without us knowing it. So there we go, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.